And good morning. It's 7:03 on this Monday, June 29th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. It is a Monday morning, and we welcome you to our program. We are happy to have you with us and to be on the air for Absolute Kubota. We've got Don Hamlet with us this morning, and he's been here through the month of June. Good morning.
Good morning.
We're glad to see you. And we start every Monday morning off with the representative from Absolute Kubota. Absolute Kubota specializes in the sale of Kubota tractors, hay equipment, zero-turn mowers, and RTVs. They also carry Exmark mowers. Exmark is one of the top-selling zero-turn mowers in the country, and they are located in the same building as Absolute Rental and Supply, which specializes in tool and equipment rental. Don Hamlet again is with us today. He's in sales at Absolute Kubota. Keep in mind, they are open at Absolute Kubota Monday through Friday from 7 to 6, 7 to 4 on Saturdays, and they're located at 1325 West Main in Lebanon behind Advance Auto Parts. Just look for their big sign or the orange tractors. The phone number, 615-449-6171, and their website, www.absolutekubota.com. You can also check them out on Facebook. All right, here we are on the last Monday in June. Seems to me June has flown by.
Zoom.
Yeah.
It's gone.
But we can say we're in a good old summertime.
It is. It was super hot yesterday. Looks like we may get a few showers mixed in the middle this week. That'll get everybody's Bermuda and Zoysia looking good. And I know that's what I've got, and mine's just now thriving. It loves that heat.
I don't. I've got the Bermuda in my yard. It comes up naturally or whatever. I haven't planted any, but you know what? And it does thrive in warm weather.
It does.
And spreads out and all that. So if we get rain, it's going to grow.
That's right. Just a reminder of everybody, we've got us a new specialist we've hired this year. His name is Ben. So if you call and you want to talk to me, and all of a sudden I'll start trying to push you over toward a young man by the name of Ben. He is very good at what he does. He can answer your questions about what is this in my yard? How do I get rid of this out of my flower bed? How do I move along to a beautiful lawn? He can answer your questions, and he can get you going in the right direction.
Well, I could talk to him on spec for half a day, because there's all kinds of plants that come up in
those are called
yard.
Weeds, Coleman.
A weed is an unwanted plant.
Okay, that's right. All righty. No, but I mean, here, at Absolute, I mean, we're talking just right before we came on the air about all the different things we can do. I mean, we got parts, sales, a great service department, got good guys in all these departments that can take care of you, try to get you in, get you out, get your questions in, get your stuff you need. Because like you always say, if you're using a piece of equipment, from time to time, you're going to need to do some maintenance on it. If nothing else, just a simple oil change.
Right.
Much less breaking something, because people try to do with what they've got, and sometimes they tear some stuff up. So,
I've known to have done that a few times in my life.
Me
But
too.
it's always good to know you got somebody with the know-how, the expertise. They've got the parts. If they don't have them, and get them. That's another good thing.
Oh yeah. The stuff that they have down in Georgia. We can normally, if we order it before 11 a.m. on one morning, it should be back at our shop the next morning at 7 a.m. The guys will get it all checked in, get it entered into the system. Hopefully before 7:30, you'll be getting a shout saying, "Hey, your stuff's here. Come get it."
That is service with a smile.
It is. It is. Those guys. We've got some really talented guys around the shop with a lot of years of experience and a lot of know-how.
You doing much in hay equipment?
Yeah. It was another good year in hay equipment, some hay balers, disc mowers and stuff.
But that's not your specialty.
That's not. It may become.
You're a lawnmower guy.
I'm a lawnmower tractor implement guy. I thrive on that. Do a lot of used equipment. We don't talk about that much on the radio. We do take trade-in lawnmowers when you're purchasing a new one. Probably should cover that more often, at least once a month, I guess. And,
even tractors?
Yes, would love to have a used tractor. If you've got one that you're no longer in love with and you'd like a new one, you bring it in, or we'll come out to your place and check it out.
You trade in that you can trade in too, right?
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
Okay.
You trade those in, and we'll give you a good price for those and get you going. That way, when your 0% financing kicks in, it's even less than it would have been. So.
Yeah, I think that's great. And there's some people who kind of thrive on the used thing, don't want to put as much money maybe into a piece of
That's true.
equipment. Maybe they don't use it as much
That's
to
true.
justify a new one.
Oh, that's true. I mean, and a lot of times they just rub the new off of it. It's not old and wore out or anything. It's just not shiny anymore. You know?
Well, you got it all.
We do.
Got it all.
We try our best to keep it all.
And as you said, from weed eaters to hay balers.
We try to cover everything in between.
Well, I hope you have a good week here, people. I think the weather's been pretty conducive. It hadn't been too dry. It's been and you depend a lot on the mowers are a big thing with you.
Oh yeah, and that's all weather. I mean, if we were to get into one of those late summer deals where it didn't rain for 6 or 8 weeks, it affects everything.
Less sales, less maintenance.
That's true. You're not sharpening your blades if you're not cutting grass. So I mean, no, you gotta be. It all goes hand in hand. And every year I've been there. I've been there over 5 years now, and every year I've been there, they've been just rained all the way through.
Yeah. Well, we're about to the end of our time. We've got a sad note this morning, and you want to close it out for us.
I do. Just want to let everybody know that with sad hearts, I bring the news that Jonathan Manning passed yesterday. Great young man, good friend, good coworker. Just want everybody out there to pray for his family and, keep him in your thoughts. And, I know there's his family certainly in all of our prayers.
Yeah. Well, he was a fairly young man.
Yes, he was.
Died of a heart attack, I understand.
Yes. Super guy.
You don't know anything about funeral arrangements?
Nothing at this time. I'm sure we may put something on our Facebook page. I know it'll be on his Facebook page. A lot of the guys, I know he was friends with a lot of our customers. You can call them customers, but as you know, we said on here before, me and Jonathan, we kind of like to handle things differently up front. We cut up and tried to be your buddy when you come in. Yeah. So.
We're going to miss him, and he and you alternated months for the most part, talking about Absolute Kubota. So
you guys may get to meet Jay LaBar, our service guy. He may get to come in and speak with you a little bit here on the radio, but we're going to miss him. We loved him.
Right. Well, thanks for being with us this morning. Don Hamlet, he's in sales at Absolute Kubota. We are 11 minutes after the hour, and I want to introduce Joel Thacker this morning. Joel, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
It is nice to have you with us, and we're going to this week end our political interviews, and we've got actually 4 of them scheduled. 2 today, 1 tomorrow, and 1 Thursday, and we won't be here Friday. But anyway, we're here to talk to you this morning. You're a candidate for a school board from the Lebanon Special School District.
Yes, sir. That's
All right. So as I usually start out, if you will, for those who don't know you, and anything you'd like people to know about Joel Thacker.
Well, first, Coleman, I want to say thank you to you and Susie for allowing this forum for us as school board members to come on here and just kind of talk about what we believe in and why we want to be on the board.
It's our pleasure, but thank you for saying so.
I appreciate it. I've been actually in this community for over 20-some years. I've been blessed. I actually married a girl, hometown girl. Jo Johnson was her name before I married her, but she is Jo Thacker now, and we've been married for over 22 years. Very blessed. We have a 13-year-old daughter named Breton Bell, both beautiful women in my life, and they keep me straight, Coleman. They're the ones that keep me on the straight and narrow, and I'm very, very blessed to have both of them. Of course, within this community, too, my father-in-law, he was the principal at Sam Houston for over 20 years, Robert Johnson. And actually, I just want to give a shout-out to him because it's his birthday today, and he's 83 years young, Coleman.
Happy birthday, Robert Johnson.
And he has been a great man, and actually, he was instrumental in opening up Coles Ferry. He was the first principal that actually opened that school up. Because it was a transition, and he opened that up. And then my mother-in-law is Gail Johnson, and she was in the bank for many years. So when I came into the community, that was my base. And so that's how I know, because they were just wonderful people. And I worked at the Super Speedway for over 8 years. And isn't it ironic that I'm running for the school board, and the Speedway is getting back open next year, and they're bringing a cup race here.
Yeah, right.
So things kind of come full circle, and is very blessed with that. And like I said, I was there for over 8 years. And then I volunteered for over 2 years at West Haven Baptist, and they started at Walter J. Baird. And so Pastor Jonathan Richardson was gracious enough to allow me just to volunteer and work with the children there. And then 2 years later, they brought me on part-time for 2 years. They weren't sure if I was what they wanted yet, but then after that, they hired me full-time for that, and I've been there for over 12 years at West Haven Baptist. as a children's pastor, you can kind of see my passion for children and how I really care about them.
So that is your livelihood now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm a children's pastor.
All right.
Yeah, so that kind of just gives you a background of where I came from. Like I said, I've been in the community for over 20-some years. I love this community. I was on the CASA board with MJ in there, running the sound board, and I was actually president for that. And that's just a great organization within itself. Served at the chamber, different functions, Big Brothers. This community is such an amazing community. Actually, I was listening to your show on Friday and listening about the flex and hearing how people can just, in this community, they just want to give back, Coleman. That's the thing that I love about Wilson County and Lebanon.
Well, why are you specifically running to be a member of the school board?
Well, the reason that I didn't run before, again, was I had a daughter. She was just born, and I wanted to kind of enjoy that. And the reason I'm running this time is teacher retention. And the second thing also is parental involvement. My wife has been in the school system for over 20 years, 10 years in Lebanon Special, 10 years in the county. So I can kind of understand both scenarios in the county and the city. And I see that sometimes after you get that 20 plus, teachers can sometimes feel like they're maybe on the out. But I think that we need to utilize that. And if you go to my website, joelthacker.com, actually I have an interview with an administrator. Her name is Miss Jennifer Hendrickson, and she was principal at Sam Houston. And I think that we need to look at some of these administrators that have been there in the past and use them as resources. So that's kind of teacher retention is a really big thing. I think we're going to have to look in the state, especially with all this COVID stuff that's going on, because teachers aren't going to be operating the same way that they did before in the classroom. It's not going to be business as usual. So we need to look and see how we can utilize and use these teachers and retain them, because I don't know about you, but if my job just changed overnight and I was going to have to be doing all these different things, it's not going to be really a conducive environment. I'm not going to be excited about it. So we need to look at ways to energize these teachers, give them hope, and let them know that we are backing them and we're supporting them. So teacher retention is the first one. And then parental involvement, like I said, my daughter, as she's coming through, I was the room dad, Coleman. So when you had the room mom, I was the room dad. So they'd have all these meetings with the ladies. And I was the one, and I actually was her room dad all the way up till fifth grade. And I thought it was really important for her to see me involved in the school system and the process with it. Because as parents, if we're not involved, and just like at church, when I have parents that are at church, if they're involved, the kids see that, and it's almost, it's kind of just contagious. And that's very important. So parental involvement and teacher retentions are the main reason that I'm coming back, because I want to endorse that.
Okay, at this point, we need to take a break. Joel Thacker is with us, candidate for school board, and we'll talk about that configuration a little bit when we come back. This is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:17. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank Bates Ford and the low price tire guarantee on all tires every day. Up to 30 days after the sale, there'll be any competitor's pricing on the tires they sell. 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Starting to get busy out here as expected. 65 down through Madison as they wrap up a couple of wrecks from earlier in South Nashville. Traffic in Brentwood, Franklin starting to build up through Williamson County right now on 65 going northbound. Hey, Bars Music City Soul Food, they're open behind the Bank of America on Nolensville Pike at OHB. Log on to barsmusiccitysoulfood.com. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
Gregory Dental in Lebanon is a family dental practice located across from University Medical Center. They offer cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and now featuring new digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments. No insurance, no problem. Call about our discount plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs. I look forward to meeting you.
Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322, West Bador Parkway across from Gibbs Pharmacy.
Coleman and Company, it's a Monday morning. Joel Thacker is here. We're talking about his candidacy for school board. And one thing I wanted to point out, what I was alluding to as we went to the break here, in the Wilson County school system and the way they're set up, there are 7 zones, and you only vote if you live in the zone where somebody is running. I believe 1, 3, 5, and 7 are actually running this time, 4 different races there. But you can only vote in the one in which you live, and if you're in 2, 4, or 6, you don't vote at all. It's not that way with the special school district.
No, sir, it's at large. We have 3 board members that run every 2 years. So this year, this position is open, and it's all the people live in the Lebanon Special School District. Now, the Lebanon Special School District, the way that you know is if you look at your taxes, you see that you pay it. It actually reaches outside the Lebanon city limit. So you could live in the Lebanon Special School District and actually not live in the city. But you're right, it is that large position.
So anybody that lives within the district, and you know that, as you said, by looking at your taxes. If you pay taxes for the special school district, then you have a vote.
Yes, sir.
And it doesn't have anything to do with where your children go to school or anything like that, as I understand it.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you have the whole 10th district to campaign in, and then that's another thing. What's it with the social distancing, with the fear of the COVID-19 and all of this? How's your campaign? What have you been doing?
I've been doing a lot of online. That was the one thing that has changed when I ran a while back 12 years ago, is that Facebook, Instagram, all these online resources are there to really vocalize and let people know as a candidate what I stand for, what I believe. And so that's been the best resource. And I really reached out to a lot of people and kind of done that. Now, signs, of course, if they would love a sign, they can go to joelthacker.com, and I would love to put a sign in their yard. And so that's been the best way for me to use the online resources.
What kind of reaction have you had once you dropped your hat in the ring, so to speak, and you begin to campaign? And has it been positive so far?
Yes, sir, very positive. And that's the one thing I wanted to do. Always be positive about the situation. And I've actually, myself, the other candidate, I actually called him up and talked to him on the phone because I think we need to be statesmen and talk about things. He's a great guy. I think he's a nice person. But one of those things where you're just running for a position. And he's, like I said, when you get on Facebook and you see all the friends that you like and the people that are connected, you realize that, you're just people. And we really just need to more talk and be vocal about the way we relate to each other.
Well, we might say, too, I believe this is the seat that Andy Brumman has had for a while.
Yes, sir.
And he chose not to run.
Mm-hmm.
So your opponent is going to be here Thursday morning in this same time slot, I think. I'd have to look. But anyway, he'll be here Thursday. So people can hear both
That's
sides. Right. You mentioned the two things there, the teacher retainment and
parental involvement. Yes, sir.
Are there other things that you're concerned about? Are you? I take it you're basically familiar with the budget and the way that the Lebanon Special School District operates.
Yes, sir. When I was on the board before, actually I went through the process and I was a 5-star board member. That's where Tennessee School Board Association actually allows you to advance yourself and do more training. That's one thing I always took serious. I remember going and having lunch with Mr. Terry Trice when he was a principal over there, and I was very visually seen in the schools, and I wanted to do that. Now, I allow the professionals to do their job, but I want to be there to let them know that I support them as a board member. And I think that's what's very important in being a school board member, to allow them to know that they have access to you, that they can come up to you and just talk to you and just kind of say, hey, this is a concern or this is something I'd like to do. So when I was on the board before, they knew how to contact me. They knew my phone number. That's the most important thing, I think, as a board member, because really you're just a conduit working together. Scott Benson and Lebanon Special School District, they're doing a great job. I'm really proud of them, even seeing the rollout plan for this fall, because they've got a lot of obstacles they got to look at, because there's a lot of stuff still up in the air that we don't know. But I just want to commend them and say that they're doing a great job, and I just want to be there to compliment and help them along this process.
I think most of their students have a device, computer, for lack of a better term.
Right.
And if some have their own personal ones, I believe maybe the lower grades have access to it at school. Are you satisfied with that, or do the improvements need to be made there?
I'd have to look and see. A lot of times they're like these Chromebooks that they have, I know in the county, and they have access to that. They're not as expensive as some of the other computers, and I have to kind of look and assess and see. I think internet connection is probably one of the bigger things that they have to look at to make sure every child has that. Because if you have a computer, you don't have internet connection, it's kind of useless. But that's one thing, if I was elected to the board, that I would love to sit down and see. School systems are kind of one of those things. For the last 50 years, they've really not changed a lot if you look at the structure of it. And this has kind of pushed us to maybe look at saying, kind of Amazon's a great example, how things have just changed overnight. I mean, 10 years ago, I would never thought that would have happened. But schools kind of need to be looking at seeing how they can use technology and implement that and maybe make it a better way to learn and a resource to make it available for conditions like these.
Let me throw this out. There has been some talk from time to time, and I don't know how serious it's been, but something about maybe the special school district having their own high school. And I think I saw something in an old newspaper about that brought up maybe 10, 15 years ago. But
Right.
What's your feeling about that?
That's something I would like to assess. If that's something Scott Benson and the staff would like to look at, I don't know how that would help with the county. I think that's one thing, kind of the background that I have. Like I said, I've been with the city for a while and I've been with the county. Would definitely be a good conduit to kind of help work that together. But I don't know. That's something we could assess and look at. And if it was something that was best for Lebanon Special School District, I would move forward with it.
I mentioned a minute ago, of course, the special school district can actually you can raise your own taxes, as I understand it. Are you familiar? You basically familiar with the fiscal standing now of the school system?
Yeah, they're doing very well. Like you said, there's 3 different types of school systems in our state. You have a county school system, you have a city school system, and then you have a special school district. The thing about a special school district is, as a school board, we can raise or lower the taxes ourselves as board members. With the other 2, you have to have the county commission or you have to have city council members actually have to do that. So special school district is a very special thing in the aspect that's what the name is, because we have a lot of control and power. So I think it's very important that you understand that.
Well, is there any way you would ever want to consolidate the special school district with the county system?
Like I said, that's something right now I don't know of, and I don't know if it'd be something really advantageous. I think they're both functioning very well. Like I said, Scott Benson and his staff is doing an awesome job. And I just think we'd move forward and kind of look at it from that standpoint.
Yeah, growth is something else we're dealing with, and of course we have a new school that is under construction
right
now, but it seems like they've been handling growth fairly well.
Yeah, they've done a great job with that, and I think the board members that have been on there right now, they've done a good job in efficiency, being good, wise with taxpayers' dollars. I think that's the thing we got to understand is that's not our money that we're spending. It's the taxpayer dollars money, and we have to be I'm very frugal in that aspect. That I want to get the biggest bang for our buck that we can, and also want to also make sure we put the kids first. That's what it's about.
I believe Steve Jones and Mr. Tomlinson. What's his first name?
Larry. No, it's not. You got me there, Coleman.
Well, he is less.
There's a lot of Tomlinsons in Wilson County, and I don't want to apologize.
He is the less vocal of the 3 members, and but you know them.
Yes, sir.
Well.
I know. Actually, I served with both of them.
Have any problem?
No, they're
Was Steve there when you were there?
I've actually worked with both of them, and it's been a great experience working with both of them. They're both fine gentlemen, and enjoy working with them again.
All right. Anything that you might want to mention? Anything you think of that you think is important to mention here before we kind of close it out? I've kind of run out of questions, to be honest.
No, you're fine.
Well, I don't. We have some growth to deal with, but it doesn't seem like the growth has been as. I mean, the county hadn't been able to build schools fast enough, really. And of course, we built some schools here, Winfrey Bryant. Now we've got the Jones Brummett, I believe it's going to be called.
Right.
But after it's built, I'm guessing it's going to be a while before you'll need another one.
You'd have to look at that and see the numbers. I know that the city does a great school. Like Beth Petty, she does an amazing job going out with the family resource bus. That's the one thing about it, kind of talking about giving back to the community. Lebanon Special has always done a great job of giving back and seeing the needs of what our children are. And that's what I always talk about. Kids are first. As a children's pastor, I want them. That's why I love kids, because they're so honest with you and they tell you really what they think. And that's a blessing to me. So to be humble and kind and serve on the school board again, that would be an honor, and that's why I would like to ask for people's vote. And like I said, they can go to joelthacker.com, and they can go on my Facebook page and like me, and if they want to sign, I'll put it in their yard. But I want to work with people, and I want to be advantageous to be ahead of it and be the best school board member that I can be for Lebanon Special in this area.
Well, I was going to give you time to wrap it up, but I think you just about did. Again, you're not out knocking on doors as tradition. Maybe you are some, but not
I'm gonna have some things coming out there. Like you said, we have to take in stance the social distancing, but there will be some things where I'll get out and kind of talk to some people, but I will do it 6 feet away, Coleman, I promise.
Well, the election, this is part of our August 6th election.
Yes, sir.
And early voting starts middle of July 17th.
July 17th, August 1st, you can early vote.
And then you have a little bit more choices now as to where you vote. You're not locked into one place on election day. And of course, early voting, I think, it's a little bit different for the special school district. But wherever you're supposed to vote, you can find that out. It's not hard at all. And in fact, I think Philip Warren has tried to make it as easy as possible. And but you do have to have your voter ID.
They've done a really good job. Philip Warren and Election Commission have done. And like you're right, on election day, you can vote at any of the different precincts. So if you're coming back from Nashville and you want to stop in Mount Juliet and vote for Lebanon Special Schools District, you can do that actually anywhere. So it's going to make it a little bit more interesting.
I need to be corrected. That is true.
Yes, sir.
Even though it's just the special school district, you can still vote anywhere in the county if you are a qualified voter. You have to live in the district, though, to vote in this election.
That is correct. Yes, sir.
Well, I think we got everything straight here this morning. Joel, thanks for coming out, and we appreciate giving you time here. And one more thing, we'll be doing election returns that evening, and you're welcome to come out and share the evening with us.
Thank you again, Coleman, for all that you do, and appreciate you.
All right. Joel Thacker, candidate for school board for the Lebanon Special School District, and we're going to take a break here. Part 2 is coming up. We got another political candidate to interview, so stay with us right here on FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:29. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Absolute Kubota and Rental, fully staffed service center and parts department. Most of their minor services can be done the same day. Servicing Exmark, Kubota, Land Pride, Red Max, and Billy Goat, 1325 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Starting to get really busy now, but it's moving down through Mount Juliet right now on I-40 westbound, coming into Hermitage as they wrap up that earlier crash at Bell Road at Brookview Estates. Already a lot of radar out here this morning. Get used to that. You're going to see tons of that this week as we head towards the holiday weekend. If your glasses are fogging up, the answer is Zipwax Anti-Fog Cleaner, voted one of the best products under $20. Log on to zipwaxantifogcleaner.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Caring for a loved one is as natural as the weather. But just like the weather, one moment it's sunny, and the next, you find yourself in the middle of a storm. So when it came time to take care of my dad, I knew I needed help. A reprieve from the storm, so to speak. That's when I found the Pavilion Senior Living. They have expertise and experience to weather the storms in your loved one's life. And now, I can rest easy. Thank you, Pavilion Senior Living. You should visit thepavilionseniorliving.com to find out more.
Do you know why Rocky Williams Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Mount Juliet sells so many cars, trucks, SUVs, and muscle cars? Well, it all starts with a simple idea. Why not give everyone a hassle-free shopping experience for their new or used vehicle with no haggling, no negotiating, and no runaround? Every vehicle on the Rocky Williams lot is marked down incredibly low with the price posted on the window. You're treated with fairness and respect every time. No pressure, just a friendly, warm, inviting staff dedicated to finding the exact vehicle you need. So Rocky Williams Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram has become the original no-haggle, one-price dealer. Go online to rockywilliams.com to see the incredible deals yourself. Every car and truck is listed with a no-haggle low price. This is for real, and you're gonna love it. People drive for miles to get some of the lowest prices in America on their new or used cars or trucks. Go to rockywilliams.com or come on over to our brand new spacious dealership next to Walmart in Mount Juliet.
Don't put off the things you should do today. Start a financial plan with Waypoint Financial Partners. Waypoint, your future, your way. For more information, call the Lebanon office of Waypoint Financial Partners at 615-444-6548. Securities and investment advisory services offered through AXA Advisors, LLC, 212-314-4600. Member FINRA, SIPC, Waypoint, your future, your way.
To kick off your work week, rain showers are in the forecast today. Temperatures today will top out in the upper 80s. More widespread rain is in the forecast on Tuesday, so you'll need to pack the rain gear. Highs on Tuesday will climb into the upper 80s. Rain is in the forecast once again on Wednesday. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty. Professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's a look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist TJ Scott.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. It is a Monday morning, and time for us to talk about Rocky Williams' premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram North Mountain. Billy Mullinax is here. We welcome you again.
Good morning, Coleman.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
All right. I've been saying this a little bit different because I think it is really Rocky Williams' premier. Most of the time, I just thought Rocky Williams premier.
That's right.
And then Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram.
That's right. That's exactly right.
But that premier is a big adjective there.
It is.
That describes you pretty well.
That's exactly right, Coleman. That's right.
Well, at Rocky Williams Premier, you'll find no haggle pricing. Everybody pays the same great low price, and Billy comes here as general manager to talk about that every Monday at this time.
Every Monday, Coleman.
And
I look forward to it.
We talked about this just a little bit last week, but sometimes the automotive month ends with a calendar month, and sometimes it doesn't. This time it does. Tomorrow is the last day of June. Tomorrow your automotive month ends.
That's exactly right.
So that means even though you got no haggle pricing and never deviate from that price, if you got a trade-in, it might be worth $100 or $200 more maybe today because you want to make the month look as good as you can.
That's right, Coleman. It may be worth just a tad bit more today as we, today and tomorrow as we try to put together everything that we possibly can to finish as strong as we possibly can for the month.
You had a pretty good month?
It's been a great month, Coleman. Really, we've been very blessed, and it's been just a good month for us.
Well, I'm glad to hear that because for a number of reasons. We want you to do well. You're one of our advertisers. That's even more wanting you to do well. But it's good for the economy. It means more sales tax dollars coming into the county. It means you're making money, your salespeople are making money, and people hopefully are happy driving a better vehicle.
That's exactly right, and they're able to go out and spend that money, Coleman, which we all do very well.
Yeah. Well, you have your website, RockyWilliams.com.
Might even see your neighbor there, Coleman.
And we want to encourage you to. And I don't think people need an awful lot of encouraging anymore. I'll bet you have so many more people looking at that website even now than you did 3 or 4 years ago.
Well, Coleman, we have a lot more looking at the website now than we did 6 months ago.
Really?
Because of course, people have been at home more.
Right.
Not getting out more, so our website traffic has been way up for the last few months.
That might be why you're doing as much business as you are, because the people, you probably, if you're sitting at home, you're watching television or on the internet probably, and go to.
Well, and when people do shop online and look on the internet, Coleman, they're going to see what a great low price we start and finish with, without you even having to try to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And so the more research they do, the thing that I think has helped us is that they realize, man, that is a great price, and I don't have to work to get that price. And, of course, on our website, it's just the price is there. You don't have to click a button to get it. You don't have to submit your information to get it. All you have to do is just go to RockyWilliams.com, and what you see is what you get.
And you do your best to have your entire inventory there, both new and pre-owned.
It is there.
Yeah. And approximately how many you got now?
Right now, Coleman, we've got about 177 new vehicles, and we've got about 130 pre-owned vehicles.
I'm amazed at you. You know those numbers off the top of your head, and you were pretty precise.
Yeah, that's That's going to be very, very close.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes some will be in transit or something that that I may not know about yet, but that's going to be pretty doggone close.
But that's a pretty good inventory too.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Well, that's 300 vehicles to choose from, and variety of price ranges to choose from and variety of vehicles. So,
Really, that's important too, because one size doesn't fit all. No, not everybody wants a new Jeep or a new. Maybe they want it, but they can't afford it or whatever.
Right.
So you got something to just about fit anybody's needs and budget.
That's exactly right, Coleman. Not everybody wants a $70,000 or $80,000 truck, but there's a lot of people that do.
Yeah.
And so we have price range to fit all budgets. And our banks that we use, of course, they are automotive banks, and they're very, very aggressive in their financing rates and the terms that are available. So, we can. I don't want to say we can get anybody financed, because that would be an inaccurate statement. But they do a great job at getting most people financed.
All right. Well, just remember, they price their cars, not their customers. It's Rocky Williams Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram of Mount Juliet, 600 Pleasant Grove Road, north side of the interstate, over close to Walmart and Academy Sports.
That's exactly right.
I hope you have a great end of the month, and we talk about that next Monday and other things. And by the way, we'll be off Friday, but not Monday. We'll be here next Monday and hope to see you.
I bet you I'll be here.
All right. Well, I hope so. God willing, we'll both be here next Monday. All right? Thank you so much. Billy Mullinax, he's general manager for Rocky Williams Premier in Mount Juliet. We're 21 minutes before the hour, and I have another political candidate to interview this morning. And his voice may not be strange to our listening audience. He used to be on the radio every Sunday here. And I'm talking about Brother Glenn Denton, who is with us today running for school board. Good morning.
Good morning, Coleman. Thank you for letting me come today.
We are glad to see you, and you're going to have to help me out here. The zone, is it 5?
5, Zone 5.
Okay. You're running for school board, Zone 5. So tell the folks listening, especially those that may not know you, a little bit about yourself, if you will.
Well, of course, I've been here now for 31 years, so this is really home for me now. I came here to pastor Hillcrest Baptist Church. I'm a native of Giles County, and I pastored there until 2.5 years ago when I retired from the pastorate, but I haven't retired from preaching. I'm still preaching regularly. COVID has hindered that quite some, but I was on the road for about 2 years constantly, and so we're grateful for that. I get to preach on Facebook and still on radios and places, and so I was there over that period of time, watched it come up out of the ashes into a mega church. I guess we had over 2,700 members, 1,200 for worship on Sunday morning, and we built 5 multi-million projects while I was there. When I left, we had $1 million in the bank, and all our buildings paid for, and 35 or 40 acres of land taken care of, paid for as well. And so God was really, really good to us and blessed us in a community to where people said we could not grow. We were in this between the 2 housing projects, actually, right in between Upton Heights and Inman Court. And that's, we talked about relocating, and I said, God put us here. That's where we're going to stay. We minister that community, and I believe God helped our area, our city, and our town because of Hillcrest Baptist Church.
I want to mention just one thing real quickly here. Your wife, Pat, is now deceased, but she was at the Lebanon Senior Citizen Center at one time, and at some point we started featuring her here on the last Friday of the month. Of course, Teresa does that now, who replaced her, but Pat Denton was a regular here on my program as well.
Yeah, she was here. She was there 10 years, and she died December 18, 2018, on the 13th of December.
Yeah.
So,
okay, let me ask you, why are you running for school board?
Well, I'm running for school board. Anybody knows me knows that I have been I've always been for children. I've always been for our young adults and our young people. When I came to pastor our church, we had no young adults, and so I made no bones about we you cannot grow a church without having young people, and we have to have children if we're going to grow. And so that's what we went after, and so we did. We had the largest vacation Bible school in mid-state, about 600 kids. Started with 23, and so we went that far. And then on Wednesday nights, we had a huge program. We'd have about 250 young people on Wednesday night along with our adults. But we had a special program for our young people. We fed them. We took care of them. We ministered to them. We helped them, let them know somebody loved them, because some of them come out of homes that did not have much support. And so we were there for them. We had Sunday schools and other training programs. We did fun things with them and camps, and we took them places. And so I've always been a big supporter of the children. Children come up and hug my legs and every Sunday. And, of course, that's one of the hardest things now to see them. And I don't hardly recognize them. They're grown up, a lot of them. But everyone who knows me knows that I've been highly involved in that. And when there was a problem within the school system, I usually found it out from our young people. They would come to me and say, Brother Glenn, look what's in our book, or look what we've been taught. And so we've had to challenge a few things over the years, so I'm well aware of how the school board operates, at least from the outside looking in.
Is that one of the main reasons you're running? One of the main things is maybe the curriculum and the way some things are taught that you don't believe in and don't believe should be in the school system?
I wouldn't say it was the main reason. It's certainly one of the priorities. I think my main reason right now is to see us get our spending under control. I certainly believe. In fact, I was studying our budget last night. I've read material all over the place, and I found $14.5 million that's not in our budget, but yet we voted on it. It's not included in the totals of our budget. The county is picking up some of that money, and so they're not calling that budgeted money. But when it all comes from one account, it's the same thing. So it's really, instead of a $6 million increase, it's a $14.5 million. And over the last 5 years, it is increased each year up to $41 million. If it continues at that pace, we'll be somewhere around another million, another 100 million, and we're already in debt $600 million in our county, and that would put us up $700 million, or at least partial between 6 and 7. That's a lot of money for a country boy, and I think a lot of money for most of our people. We need to find where it's going, and our present administration, our present, at least the majority of our school board and our school superintendent wants to call it success, that we're having success. Well, building buildings and all that's great, and I love that, and I want us to grow, and I want us to reach our kids and have a great learning. But throwing money at a problem is not fixing it. We need to fix the problem, and throwing money at it doesn't fix it. And my opinion is it really success today when we're destroying the future tomorrow?
Okay, with that, we've got to take our break. Glenn Denton is candidate for School Board Zone 5. We'll talk more after this on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:46 to see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks, Absolute Kubota and Rental, fully staffed service center, parts department. Most of their minor services can be done the same day. Servicing Exmark, Kubota, Lamb Fried, Red Max, Billy Goat, 1325 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. We're looking live at T-Dot behind a stalled car here on 40 eastbound before you get to Fessler's. It's running slow right now on 40 westbound. Coming past Fessler's, trying to get on that ramp there to I-24 over the Sullivan Evans Bridge as they move a stalled truck in that area. A lot of people are just rubbernecking for no reason. Hey, it's time to have some summertime fun at Adventures Unlimited on the Ocoee River. Book online, adventuresunlimited.net. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
Calling all horse lovers. Do you need a new zero turn for your horse farm? Call Absolute Kubota today at 615-449-6171 and ask about their special equine discounts on Exmark mowers. Exmark picked 2-to-1 over any other brand. Step up to an Exmark at your farm or ranch today so you can get back to what you enjoy, your horses. Call 615-449-6171 or stop by and see the team at Absolute Kubota at 1325 West Main Street in Lebanon. Exmark, ready to work for you.
Thanks for joining us. Our final segment now for a Monday morning. And if you just turned our way, thank you. And I'd like guest, Glenn Denton, Brother Glenn Denton, to host our guest. As he said, been a preacher at Hillcrest for a long time, but running down for School Board Zone 5. What are the, if you wanted to, we want to talk about the issues between you and your opponent. Of course, and he'll be here tomorrow to defend himself, but he's chairman of the school board and has been there for a while, and you're talking about a lot of spending. The issues here as you see them in this between you and him.
Yeah, well, as far as personal, we don't have any personal issues, I don't think. In fact, I haven't even talked to Larry during the campaign. I've met Larry before. We've always been cordial. We don't have any personal problems that I know of, that I'm aware of. I just disagree with being a rubber stamp for our superintendent. I don't think we ought to vote for everything that she says and recommends. In fact, sometimes she's even addressed rather than our chairman. And I watched him at the budget amendment basically give a campaign speech for himself at the end, calling all we had done successful, all the things that was going on now. But the problem is we're calling, there was not one thing explained about what the budget that was presented that night would make it successful. In fact, that budget that was amended that night was done by two people. It was done by Mickey Hall and our superintendent. They're two that amended the budget, brought it back to the people that night. I watched both of them, the budget presentation and that, and then they presented that amended budget to the county, to our commissioners, but it was a different number that they presented then. It was there that night, 156 million, and yet that night they'd cut it back down to 153. They're asking for a 10.5 million raise. As I said, that really has amounted to about a 14.5 million group. Another problem I have is that at the end of the year, they in 2018 they had a 13 million excess, and then in 2019 they had a 23 million excess. That goes into what's called a reserve fund. So that's $36 million that we don't know exactly where it is or who's holding it or how it's dispensed, and that would take care of a whole lot of shortages when you're being asked for those kind of things. And we're told no teachers will be lost. But I have the very thing that was given to the commissioners right here. They voted on and approved, and it says 18 new teachers for elementary and middle schools, 31 new teachers for Green Hill High School, and abolishing 41 teaching positions to balance the budget. Now, this is what they voted on. That means we're going to hire 49 and fire 41, which doesn't make a lot of sense. But then when you read a little further, on this side, there's 7 teachers out of a job for this year. And so the budget was tampered with after the amendment, which I don't think is legal. But this was a part of an amended budget. And at the very end of that, there was an A-B schedule presented to us. Now, it came out of that budget meeting between those two people, so it had to do with finances, but the only answer we got was it would require less teachers. So if that be the case, then we're either not going to hire a good many teachers or we're going to have to fire some teachers. So so they have their little asterisks down here that's not in the line item budget. I'd like to see a line item budget to where we could sit down and understand it. It could be explained line by line, but it never is. It's also not acceptable to move Robert's Rules of Order. I don't know what our decorum is, but you cannot move in a budget a line item outside of an account, but we do it. We move it from where we want to, and that's not the way a budget should be run. And so, yeah, the rubber stamp thing is the biggest problem I have with my opponent. I don't have, personally, I like Larry, and I hope he likes me. We've not ever had any words against each other. We've talked personally in my office. But those are some of the main things. And then this is the thing, Coleman, that bothers me the most, is the teachers who've been calling me and the coaches, nurses, TAs. They've been calling me saying, Brother Glenn, we for you because we don't like what we're seeing. We're not getting any of the money that we're supposed to get. We never see it, but I can't say anything because we're afraid we'll get fired. They live in a constant fear, being subtly threatened. They don't get just flat out threatened. They get subtly threatened, and then they see people moved around, and right before they get tenure, they find a reason to get rid of them and things like that. I do not think our teachers can have a great learning environment for our children if they live in a state of fear like that. I want to see freedom among our teachers as long as they're doing the right thing. I'll stand with our teachers. I think we ought to start them at a higher pay rate, $5,000 more a year in most places than we do. We top out at around 51. Other places are higher. I think a teacher could teach their whole career and never make over a $12,000 difference. I don't think that's right nor fair.
What about the central office and the personnel there and the salaries that are being paid and so on? Do you agree, disagree with the amount of money that it takes to run that?
Yes, sir. I disagree with the whole plan. I don't think there should have been that kind of money spent on a building. In fact, I liken it to an embassy in a small country. I've traveled halfway around the world and been in many countries, and it looks like a small embassy, except they don't have the aircraft guns on the corners. And there's $21.5 million it took to build that building. And some of those people in that office is making more right now than a teacher would make their whole career. And I do think that's wrong. I also think that if, like we paid our substitute teachers throughout this COVID thing, well, they're substitute teachers. They should have not been paid. Our teachers should have been paid, and our full-time employees maybe, but certainly not our substitute teachers, because that took away from other things. And so the AB schedule is going to cost us somewhere. But the main thing, if special ed parents needs to hear me today, it is going to be the most confusing thing for special ed students to come into a total new program after all the mess we've been through with the COVID and the confusion and the unrest, and then have to go to a different schedule and format. And so for special ed students, it's going to be a nightmare. And any other place that's tried it that I've checked on has said it became a disaster. So yet we come out of a budget meeting, amended budget meeting, with no explanation, and was bullied into a vote that night. They were not allowed to have any time to look at it. They saw it, including my opponent, for the first time, if they told the truth, and I assume they did. They saw it for the first time at the beginning of that meeting, and they were forced to vote at the end of that meeting. None of them understood an AB schedule. It couldn't be explained, and yet they were forced to vote. So a bullying process like that. In fact, our superintendent shook her fist at Mr. Robinson and said, "Zero new teachers." What did I tell you? 0 new teachers. And yet we find teachers here that is an asterisk that could be lost, up to 41 of them. In that very same meeting, Mickey Hall says that, yes, we may not lose 41, but we're going to lose some. And then later on, and again, he said we may lose some, but she said we'd lose none. Absolutely. So there's a conflict here, and I think as a chairman, there should have been somebody that intervened here and said, let's get some things straight. Let's give our people time to look at this a day or two and have a special meeting and get it right.
What would you do? What would you be like if you're elected? As a member of the board.
Yes, sir. Everybody knows that I can't be bought, I can't be bribed, and I can't be bullied. And so I'll stand for what I believe in, and I'll do my best to represent the people of this county and what's best for this county, not what's best for me. And I also will stand for the moral principles here. The Bible says that the fear of God's the beginning of wisdom. So I figured I got a head start. I'm all right. I'm already wiser because I fear God, and so that step, I'm out of kindergarten, so I'm ready to move on.
Are there maybe some curriculum that you would want change? You want to talk a minute about that?
Yes, I've challenged that. A couple of years ago, we took several people out there. Islam was being taught to our children in a geography book. That was strange. Not a world religion book or even a world history book, but in a geography book. Islam had 2 full chapters in that book, and the 5 steps of becoming a Muslim and how to become a Muslim. So we were teaching our young people that. Well, there had one other chapter, really not on Christianity, really on more Catholicism, or just a brief word or two about it, but nothing about even the ABCs of becoming a Christian. And so it should not have been in a geography book anyway when you're studying geography. But we challenged that, and that we talked to the superintendent and Larry in my office privately, and so we was able to skirt that and do the right thing here. We also, transgender bathrooms became an issue, and all the new schools were being built, and they would have had transgender because they was rubber stamping everything come through. And we stood against it and stopped that, and I'm grateful for it. Now, it wasn't just me. I had 300 or 400 people, that was really concerned and got behind us.
I'm going to give you a chance to summarize your candidacy, but with just one other question here is, what is after you've thrown your hat in the ring here, so to speak, what's been the reaction? Are you encouraged?
Tremendous, yes. People ask me, how's it going? And we don't really have a huge media forum here in Wilson County, so it's difficult for me to, do any kind of surveys or anything like that. So, but I just know by the reaction I'm getting from people, it's all positive. I have only had one negative even comment on my page, just one. Now, I do know I've had spies, but I do think that the people are behind me, but they're scared. They're they're living in fear, just employees, teachers, and I want to stop that. And I also want to see some transparency among and some accountability for our finances and for our curriculum and for our choices. We have a no bid process on building schools. We use one person to do infrastructure, to do excavation, to do building, to do it all. One person. That's not right.
We got 1 minute. Wrap it up, play. Why should you be the next representative on the school board?
I think I should be the next representative, number one, because I will stand for the teachers and the children and try to create an environment for learning. Number two, I will try to protect the finances in a way that we get the most bang for our buck, I guess is the best way to say it. And number three, if it's wrong, I'll stand against it, and I will not back up. And I will stand for the people, and I'll do my best to do the right, the moral, and the godly thing. If God be for me, who can be against me? So I figure I'm a winner already, so.
We want to thank you for coming and sharing your thoughts with us this morning. And just a quick reminder, we'll be doing election returns. You're welcome to come and be a part of that. Election is August 6th. Early voting starts July 17th.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Brother Glenn, for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
And that is it for a Monday. Join us tomorrow for the Tuesday edition. Till then, I wish you a magnificent day.